So let us review how to make a GIF in Adobe Photoshop. Let's go ahead and with Photoshop open, we will select File New. And it has the 400 by 400 pixel setting that we used last time. We could do something different now. So we wanted it to be a little bit taller, more of like a portrait style. And go ahead and name your GIF. Let's make this transparent because last time we did an opaque background. Okay, great. So I'm going to use a different tool now. Last time I used the paintbrush tool, which is over here, but I'm actually going to use the AI image generator tool now, just to switch things up. So let's figure out where that is. I think if you use the rectangle marquee tool and you select the generative fill button, will bring up a prompt box. And we can say, a calico cat rolling on the ground. Wow, pretty great. So this is now our artboard. Let's go ahead and go to our layers menu on the left. You'll see that it generated a mask here. So what that does is it allows you to change the AI generated image without changing the layer, which is not something that we need here, but just to show whenever you see this sort of link tool, that means it's masked. So we're going to now create a new layer, and since we want to retain the information from the old layer, we are going to duplicate. It says duplicate a calico cat rolling on the ground. Why don't we try now saying a calico cat rolling on the ground again? Okay, it's the same. So now we have two layers of the same. Let's go ahead and change this layer. What should we use? Why don't we use something called a blur tool? And then here it asks, this smart object must be rasterized before proceeding. Edit contents will no longer be available. Rasterize the smart object. Okay. Okay, so now you see the difference between these two layers. So of course when we animate, it'll go from blurry to not so blurry. So let's duplicate this layer. And now I'm just going to call this, again, 2. And then let's choose a different tool. Let's choose an effect. Twirl. So let's maybe choose one where it's like a little twirled. And then we'll go ahead and we'll duplicate that layer. Call that again 3. And then let's do the same twirl. Let's duplicate that layer. And then the same twirl. And then maybe one more. All right. Let's delete this first layer. I don't think I want that in there anymore. Thinking about the animation. Let's create a frame animation. Notice how it says frame animation, and this window was automatically up, but if it wasn't up, you would find it in window, timeline. So if I take that off, it disappears. If I want it back, bring it back up. Create frame animation. It might say create video timeline. If it does, just toggle it to frame animation. And then in this hamburger icon, we will say, oops, first we have to click create frame animation. In the hamburger icon, say make frames for layers. Okay. We didn't end up using the transparent background, but that's okay. I just kind of went with inspiration, and I think this ended up being a good demonstration of using the AI tool, which again, you use the rectangle marquee tool, select, use generative fill. That brought up a layer over here, which I then duplicated, added a filter, distort twirl mask, which I then duplicated, changed again, duplicated, changed again, duplicated, changed again, brought down the timeline window, created a frame from animation, and selected make frames from layers. So when exporting this GIF, and actually before we export, let's change this so that the loop, each frame in the loop lasts for 0.5 seconds. That feels a little slow. So I want to keep that at 0.5, but maybe I'll keep these at 0.2. Let's see how that goes. Okay. So now when we export, we file, export, save for web. That brought up this save for web window here. And there are a couple of different options. Notice how the GIF restrictive has a limited number of colors, which you can tell by the color banding here. If we were to change that to say 64, that gives us a broader range of colors. Let's see, 128. No dither. That might make it look a little more pixelated. Dithering helps randomize the pixelation process so it appears more natural. So let's do this. The 128 dithered will render a larger file than, say, the GIF restrictive, simply because it has fewer colors. But I don't think it'll be too big. It'll give you an estimate here of the size. So we'll say save. GIF demo, save, and then let's go ahead, GIF demo. So one thing to note, opening with preview won't play it as a GIF. To just quickly see it on a Mac, press the space bar and you'll see the GIF. All right, hope that that helps.